Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Taurus for October 2016. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, see what's new on my blog, and if you have a future vision of yourself, the life that you would like to create, and you want help bringing that vision into the now, then join me during my Spiritual Warrior Weekend, which is live in Sarasota, Florida in November, or you can join by virtual live stream. So check it out on my website. What is going on in the month of October? We've got lots of sweet spots and challenging spots to discuss in the general transits. We've got some things specific for Taurus placements to get into. I'm calling the theme for the month and even the longer term for Taurus, for freedom and feeling fine. So you'll see as I hit on all of these points why I'm summarizing it that way. I promised last month that I would get more into what Jupiter changing signs could mean for your placement. Jupiter has a 1-year transit, and when it moves into a different sign, it's in that sign for about a year. So we talk about the planet in the sign, which is Jupiter in Libra, and that has to do with expansion of relationships, partnerships. That is something that everyone will experience, but the house that it moves into for Taurus will bring other effects of expansion from Jupiter. The effects of Jupiter are long-term, but this is a very appropriate discussion for the month of October because there are also short-term energies in the houses that you have Jupiter affecting. So we're saying long-term theme and also short-term theme. Okay, so early degree placements, so basically April-born Taurus placements, or 0 to 9 degrees if you're watching for your rising sign, you will experience these Jupiter in the 6th house energies and now. You may have already been feeling them in recent months as well. Middle degree placements, you might not start having these be really revved up for another 3 or even 6 months if you're at the latter end of the middle placements. So it depends on where you're situated as to when you will have this focus. But it's coming for all of you. Later degree placements, very late degree placements, you might not have this long-term energy in the 6th house be brewing until next summer even, into next fall. So you still will have the energy of Jupiter in the 5th house. So I'm going to talk about all of it so that you know where you're at. At any time, it would be great to go to my website to see my Jupiter blog to get a written summary of this. If you go to anniehelpsyou.com, click on blog, click on astrology, do a search for Jupiter, then I've written a very comprehensive, organized, nice blog on Jupiter. So you can look at Jupiter in the 7th / Libra for the general transit that will be relevant for you. Early degree placements can look at the 6th house, Jupiter in the 6th. Middle and late degree placements, you can read Jupiter in the 6th knowing it's coming for you, but middle and late degree placements can read Jupiter in the 5th because that's current for you now. Okay, so Jupiter is the great expander, and it expands everything it touches. Sometimes it amplifies problems in these areas of life as an effort to get them in your face and get you doing something about them. So sometimes there's a little bit of mischief that's brought in an attempt to bring an amazing outcome. The 6th house is the house of health. If you ever had a chance to attain and retain optimum health, it would be when Jupiter was in your 6th house. It makes you more magnetic to bringing the right practitioners, the right health team. Many people see doctors as the source of their health and wellness. This is not a healthy way of interacting with medical practitioners or alternative medical practitioners or anyone helping you. We have to be responsible for our own health. We have to be accountable. The doctor can make recommendations, but only we can follow them through. And so it's important to start to shift the perspective of these healing practitioners as people on a team. They're partners in your healing. And you can be completely magnetic to the perfect partners in your healing when Jupiter is expanding this house. It brings luck, it brings benevolence. It brings expansion to your diet, to meditation, to everything medical tests. It brings information, elucidation, answers to questions you might have had your whole life can come in this area now. Something really important for people with Jupiter moving through the 6th house to think about and look into is your insurance benefits. Insurance benefits are such a debacle to try to figure out what the heck is covered, calling people, being on hold, etc., trying to read the fine print can put most people off, so that you very often have benefits that you are completely unaware of. A good conversation with your insurance provider could give you answers and be part of this process of attaining optimum health. For instance, many major medical insurance providers have supplemental discount plans that give you benefits like discounted massage, acupuncture, and some insurance policies actually even will cover these services, and you don't even know about this. Many people are going to have to spend more time attending to their physical body. We run the physical body, run it. Don't give it the fuel it needs, don't give it the attention it needs, don't give it the repair, and then we wonder why things go wrong. So this is like a whole new awakening in treating the physical body as you would want someone else to treat you, as you would want someone that you love to be cared for. This is the viewpoint of that Jupiter's trying to bring. And Taurus energy is usually very strong and very tireless. And the last thing it's focusing on is the physical body, because it's focusing on everything that has to be done and usually taking care of everybody else. If you're not in good health, you can't be of service to other people. Something else that Jupiter in the 6th house can bring is a better schedule, an optimum schedule. I could even go as far as to say an optimum schedule. If you could go crazy and write down what you'd love your schedule to be, even if it's totally far-fetched, this is the time to do that. If you'd like to work 3 days a week, 6 hours each 3 days, and work from home and make your own schedule, whatever it happens to be, you can write that out, and Jupiter will plant the seeds for creating that. Something important to know about Jupiter transits is that they don't always bring their complete manifestation in the time of the transit. It's also a seed planting time. It's a time to go crazy and plant as many seeds as possible in the areas that it's focusing on, so that you have all of those 12 years for any of those seeds you planted to pop up. So if you go and do a very comprehensive job planting seeds, then at any time, any of these dreams can sprout. You can find more harmony in work. Some of you who need work can have more work. Some of you who want to work less can have more efficient, less working schedule. Anything having to do with the body-mind connection, there's a fantastic resource, one of my favorite, called The Science of Medical Intuition. It's by Dr. Norm Shaley and Carolyn Meese. They do an amazing job blending the understanding of energy dynamics within the body with the science of medicine. And this is a beautiful tool to focus on the body-mind connection, how there is no separation between our mind and our body and the things that are going on with our physical health. I added fur into the mix with the fur, freedom, and feeling fine because pets and animals are in the 6th house. So some people will actually get a pet if they haven't had one. Some people will get more pets. Some people will spend more time with animals, and some people will have cool experiences with animals. When I had Jupiter moving through my 6th house, and in one of my charts it actually still is, but I had a lot of very cool experiences with animals. I tend to anyway because I have an active 6th house and I love animals, but some really cool experiences, specifically with an orangutan. Over the course of the time that Jupiter has been in this house, I've had this series of experiences with this orangutan. And those are the kind of things that are typical when Jupiter is expanding, the connection to animals, the connection to communication with animals, and those kind of things. So there could be more fur in your future. So for the middle and late degree placements, so basically the May-born Taurus placements, or 10 to 29 degrees if you're watching for your rising sign, you still have the energy very strongly of Jupiter and short-term energy as well in your 5th house. The 5th house is the house of fertility. Anything having to do with children, fertility, conception, pregnancy, childbirth, child rearing, creative projects, separate from actual physical human babies, your creative babies. This is the house of talents and gifts, like music, instruments, athleticism, singing, acting, things that are hobbies that some people can make into work that just bring them joy, fun things. This is all having to do with that house. The fifth house is also the house of true love. And many times people will draw in their perfect partner or draw in a more wonderful relationship with their perfect partner that they've already pulled in. So these are ways that you can see Jupiter continue to expand the fifth house. And remember, it plants seeds. So if things don't manifest completely during the transit, if you've planted as many seeds as possible for having your most fun and your most love and your most creativity, then you'll have a lot of time where those seeds can grow. So these are the things that are specific on my mind for Taurus for the month of October. Now I want to talk about the sweet spots, the perfect for launching moments, the challenging, dicey things that you need to be aware of, days that are definitely going to bring challenges for the month of October. I'm calling the theme of October intense impetus for new birth. So we know whenever we birth something, whether it's an actual child or whether it's a creative project or whether it's a new dimension of an experience, anything new often will come with birthing pains. And this month is full of opportunities to have birthing pains, or also described as the pressure that it either takes to step into a new experience, or the pressure it takes to birth something into the tangible dimension, into the this reality, the third dimension. So there are awesome opportunities for launches, for new things coming in. And actually, this is the first month in all of 2016, starting on October 7th and running through around December 2nd, the first few days in December, that we don't have a personal planet retrograde or a shadow interfering with a launch. There have been a couple of other launch phases that I've recommended this year, but neither of those two main phases were completely clear of retrogrades. But we do have to have some time before this time now in October where we were doing some things, launching new things. But this is the period of time now that it's wide open from the perspective of the personal planets being clear of retrograde. So this month is just like such a mixed bag because it has some beautiful aspects, actually even starting at the end of September. September 26th is the first one. I'll go into that. And straight through the end of the month, October 30th is my favorite day of the month for birthing, which I'll get more into that as well. But in between all of those openings for pushing things forth, moving things along, there is a lot of pressure and opposition, challenges. Sometimes it's the challenge, the opposite, that the thing opposing us that actually creates the intense impetus to do something different. And so we get comfortable in our lives and in circumstances, and sometimes it's easier to just let things be than it is to rock the boat in a way that you would have to be able to create a new life, to birth a project, to birth a new dimension of reality. So this month, it seems like it's completely astrologically designed to bring that pressure that's necessary for the new birth. So if you have brought something out at the end of September, or if you're preparing to launch something, just know you might have a little bit of touch and go before the energy is more clear. The energy gets more clear in November, or actually starting October 30th. So I'll give you some good dates that I really like for launching things. And know that if you sign up for my free email newsletter on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, that you get a more detailed review of the month ahead in writing, along with more dates and things that go on in those dates, and good dates and challenging dates, etc. So I'm giving you some summaries of some of the points here, but you can get more access to that a month ahead of time by signing up for my free newsletter. Okay, so October 1st, we have, backtrack. September 26th is one of the most wonderful days of the year for expansion, growth, benevolence, luck. It just happens to be that we're kind of fresh off of Mercury going direct on September 22nd. So it's going to be a great launch date, but I'm putting some conditions in there. If you're launching something that is a relaunch, is a phase of something that is a short-term phase, is addressing something short-term, is like a leg of a journey or a piece of something, then September 26th is fabulous. If it's something that this is the unveiling, the first time someone is ever seeing it, you might want to wait until that October 30th date if you can help it, or at least into October, because you want that Mercury retrograde energy to be more clear when you're launching something for the first time or something long-term. Sometimes we fall under this misconception that you can't do anything in Mercury retrograde or shadow, and that's not true. You can do plenty of things, and you can check out my Mercury retrograde video to see more about that. But the things it mostly dictates is short-term ventures and legal contracts. That you want to avoid is long-term ventures and legal contracts, because the energies are murky and they're subject to change. So that's why I say if you've got something that's like a leg of a journey or something like that for a launch, then September 26th is amazing. Also, ultimately, you always have to trust your intuition and your own flow, because there are sometimes, very often, that personal transits in your personal chart will supersede things in the general transits, so that's a very important thing to note always when you're listening to astrological dates and forecasts. So September 26th is an amazing day. October 1st is another awesome day. Venus in Pisces is making a trine, which is the most favorable angle in astrology, to Neptune in Pisces, and that brings amazing healing and anything having to do with healing, the healing arts or artistic expression. And Venus, which rules love, beauty, and money. So that's a sweet angle. October 26th, we have Venus in Sag making a 60-degree angle to Jupiter in Libra. And a 60-degree angle is a favorable angle, but it's one that you often have to do something to activate its full glory. Sometimes trines will come and you can activate the energy as well, but sometimes they'll just bring blessings without you having to do much. But the 60-degree angle that we have on October 26th really wants some sort of action. So Venus combined with Jupiter is like love, beauty, money in a beautiful angle to expansion and growth and luck. So that's a sweet day. My favorite day of the month, and mark this with a big star in your calendar, is October 30th. We have a new moon at 18 degrees of Scorpio. This new moon is conjunct Mercury, and it also trines Neptune. So we've had a lot of new moons this year that have sort of been conflicted or afflicted with their energies because there were difficult angles going on at the same time. And you do have some challenging energy the days before the new moon, but by the time the new moon comes, most of that should be clear. So it's a really great launching pad for anything. You're free of the Mercury retrograde shadow at the beginning of the month. You're free of the challenging angles that dance throughout the month, and so it's just a really nice time. Okay, so there are more dates that I give in my newsletter that are good dates, with some more details there too. So some dates that will likely come with growing or birthing pains or challenges are October 5th, the 15th and 16th, the 19th, and the 28th, 29th. And again, like I said, there are more challenging dates throughout the month of October, which you can see the full list when you sign up for my newsletter, but I don't have time to go into all of them. There are just so many. So October 5th, we have Mars in Capricorn squaring Jupiter in Libra. When these planets come together in this angle, it can often lead to overpromising or having overpromised something and not being able to deliver it, or some sort of overextension of action or will. It could also manifest as obstacles in the way of you trying to do something. Mars is action, and when Jupiter is making a difficult angle, it's like you don't have the great expander on your side. It's being antagonistic. So you'll see some things come up there. October 15th and 16th, it's just like a powerhouse of challenge. I think that challenge can be a very, very, very positive thing. So the way I frame challenges, especially if you are being accountable for your own happiness, if you are taking responsibility for the quality of your experience, we can't control the things that will happen always, right? Very often it's completely out of our control, certain destined events. However, we can control the quality of our experience. And when we have challenges, it often causes us to activate that aspect of free will that we have in our charts and stand up for it and do something about it. And sometimes that takes pressure. So on October 15th and 16th, we have this. This is a yearly event. The sun opposes Uranus. That makes a 180-degree angle, and it is a challenging angle. So things can come up that can be jostling, erratic people or inconsistencies interfering with something you're trying to do. Mercury is also squaring Pluto, so power figures, someone using their power not in a good way. That could be interfering with your personal expression. And October 16th, we have a full moon at 23 degrees of Aries. And this is a supermoon. This is the fourth supermoon of the year. We have 6 supermoons this year. A supermoon is when the moon is closer to the earth. And you can see it because the moon actually looks bigger. You ever look in the sky and say, whoa, the moon looks huge. It's like right there. That's a supermoon. And we're more affected by everything that the moon affects when there's a supermoon. The gravitational pull on the earth and its inhabitants are increased dramatically when the moon comes closer, especially when it comes into its fullness. So anything that would happen on a full moon will likely be magnified. So that could be lots of emotions, not only negative emotions, there could also be positive emotions. I've had many full moons where I was just brimming with joy, overflowing emotions that were happy. So we're not going to assume that every full moon has to bring some negative drama, although it tends to, because I always use the example of a dog when it gets wet. I love dogs. And when they get wet, they shake, 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 right? And if water represents emotion here, and it does in general, it's like at the full moon, we shake, shake, shake off the excess emotions that we don't process or deal with throughout the month. So this supermoon is in Aries, and one possible challenging aspect of this could bring a health impetus to focus on your health. So could that come through crisis? Yes, maybe, some sort of incident with your health or symptoms or something that maybe they were in the backdrop and then they just got up right in your face. Something like that. Something having to do with yourself, your self-esteem. A very positive aspect that could manifest with a full moon in Aries is amazing recognition and being thrown out into the limelight with it being all about you. Something coming to fruition, something coming to manifestation involving you and what you're doing and what your image is. And, so many people will be cast out in the limelight in this supermoon time. It's really important to note that these transits, even though I give you the dates of them, we can often feel them days before. And the bigger transits, we can feel them weeks or months before sometimes. But the transits that are present this month, you could feel them within days before or within days afterwards. I tend to feel things early. So most of the time when there's a challenging transit, before it comes, it's all right in front of me. And then by the time it actually comes, it's past already. The tension is past, kind of like when you're, when a race car driver is going around a track. And when it gets to the point, if you've ever done like go-karts or anything, then you're like excited to go forward, and then you have to slow down because there's that turn and it's awkward, and then you can zoom for the straight track. So that's similar, I liken it to that. So there's a lot of antagonistic energy at this time, but there's also a lot of chance for fruition, and there's a lot of pressure that's building that can facilitate your birthing of new things. The next transit that can be challenging is Mars and Pluto conjunct in Capricorn, and this occurs on October 19th. So when you have Mars, the god of war, and Pluto, the god of the underworld that rules birth, death, transformation, rebirth, atomic energy, get together, all of those traits will likely be magnified. Now, people can use that for good. People can have their ambitions soar during this transit and get thrown into a position, again, of recognition. There's a theme of this. But there could also be negative energy that brews to the point of verbal or even physical violence. You know, people will be on edge and angers and tensions may run high. So just be really careful around this time. Don't push anything, you know, if there's a situation that could be sketchy, and just breathe. October 28th and 29th, Mars, again, is in an aspect with a planet that it doesn't work well with when it's in a square. So Mars square Uranus, especially in Aries, which is like this fiery catapult of energy, you know, and Aries rules Mars. So there's like, again, this combination of this very forceful, assertive energy. So just be really careful with your actions and other people's actions. And, you know, if things like, I went to the library the other day and I saw 2 security guards going up, like one called the other one, and I was like, that doesn't look like a good situation. I think I'm going to get out of this situation. Like that, you know, just kind of be looking around for things that don't look right or feel right and distance yourself from them, and don't purposely put yourself in any situations that could be like that if you can help it. So those are the things that are most on my mind for the general transits for October. Again, definitely go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, see what's new on my blog. I have a new blog on there for making powerful wishes for the new moon in Scorpio, specific for Scorpio wishes. You can advance your wishing power when you align the new moon wishes with the subjects of the sign that the new moon is in. So you can read more about that on my blog. And while you're there, definitely sign up for my free email newsletter, and you will get more details the month ahead about the upcoming transits, often some additional details than I give in the horoscopes. While you're there, if you are looking to expand your monetary earning potential or magnetic potential, check out my Unleash Your Money Magnet. So you can click on my programs and check out my other programs in my Unleash Your Money Magnet. So I hope that you have a wonderful month of October. If you want to become a spiritual warrior, then you can check out my Spiritual Warrior Weekends. I'm having a live and virtual option for that experience in November. So you can see more of that on my website. Hope you have a wonderful month. See you soon. Bye.